Hello and welcome to webinar number 3 on a mobile checklist, everything you need to know about creating a mobile website that produces results. I'm Kathleen Ward. I'm here today with Shelley Burke. We are co-authors of the mobile checklist, as well as several other reports, including the very popular responsive web design white paper. We're also the developers of the events calendar application for destination marketing. In our first webinar, I spoke about how to use Google Analytics to evaluate and optimize your mobile presence. And then in our second webinar, Shelley showed how to tailor your content for a mobile website and shared some tools and techniques that save you time and effort in making mobile a success. Today in our third webinar, we're going to review the importance of search on mobile and have a look at plugins. I'll discuss why search functionality is so important on mobile and how to use search effectively as part of your mobile design. But first, Shelley will share her insights on evaluating and selecting the right plugins for your mobile site. Now, all these webinars are part of our in-depth look at mobile marketing based on our mobile checklist. And you can download this checklist for free, along with several other reports at checklist.travel-on-the-go.com. So I'll hand you over to Shelley now to begin our discussion.
Thanks, Kathy. I'm going to be talking to you today about plugins, and this is our tip for the mobile checklist, tip number 5, and it's about ensuring that your plugins are fully responsive. Now, in the online world, we often hear and see terms such as plugin, module, extension, component, add-on, etc. A plugin is defined as a program or a piece of software that can be installed over a core system to add specific functionality to that system. Most of us should be familiar with plugins like Flash plugin or Adobe Reader for web browsers. In those cases, the core system is the web browser, for example, Internet Explorer or Firefox, and you can install or add the Flash Player plugin to the web browser if you wish to view Flash movies, for instance. Similarly, we often want to add some specific feature or functionality like a slideshow, maybe a photo gallery, or even a Facebook comments box to our responsive websites. And we don't necessarily want to build that functionality from scratch. So this is where plugins come in. The term used, it may vary depending on the content management system that you're using. For example, if you're using Joomla, you may often hear them referred to as components or modules. But essentially, plugins will allow us to easily add the desired interactivity, life, pizzazz, whatever we want to call it, to our responsive websites. We want our website to be more than just basic, of course. So we decide that we need to add some panache to our websites. So what we do is we search online for that perfect plugin. We scan the descriptions and the keywords for the term responsive or mobile friendly perhaps. We locate that plugin and install it, but is the job really done? Not quite. First, we might review the effects of the installation on our desktop computer, and that new slideshow or plugin that we set up, it looks fantastic. So we're very happy with it. We tell our friends, we tell our family about it, and we tell them to check it out. We may even send out a news blast about it. However, sooner or later, we regret that. We either discover the mistake ourselves, or we receive some sort of unwelcome feedback to the effect, what fantastic slideshow. I mean, I just pulled it up on my iPhone and it's unusable. So where did we go wrong? What's our mistake? We check the site about the plugin's information, and the developer of the plugin says in the description that the plugin is mobile friendly. So we take his word for it. We had it installed, we viewed it on our desktop computer using our favorite web browser, and it looked fine. We, however, did not check to see how it looked or behaved on other devices. So you might have tablets, smartphones, TVs. These are devices that are used every day by the average person. We need to make sure that our websites and plugins display and react as they should on these devices. If we had checked them before going live, we might have realized that our fantastic slideshow appears to be maybe frozen in Internet Explorer. The photos maybe out of portion, they may be covering important information on our websites, or the captions on the smart TV or the tablet may not display at all. So right now we're going to look at an example where a slideshow plugin for the content management system Drupal has been installed. And if you see here, while it looks fine on the user's desktop or laptop, we can see the image in our slideshow. We can see the navigation, the arrows on the left and right to move through the slideshow, and we can also see a caption displayed in the center. And these are the basic elements of a slideshow. So as we can see, it looks fine on desktop. However, we take a look now on our tablet, on a Nexus device to be exact. And as you can see, we have the navigation arrows again. We have the default image in the background. However, the caption has completely disappeared. This is not something that we want to happen. So it is important that any plugin that you use, you must test it as extensively as possible. It's unlikely that you will have access to every single device that there is out there, but try to test on as many devices as you can. You can have your friends, your family, your co-workers check it on their devices. You can also do basic testing, responsive testing for varying screen sizes or resolutions directly in your browser. Firefox and Google Chrome, for instance, they have these tools, these built-in tools that you can add to the browser to allow you to view how your website and hence the installed plugins render at the most popular screen resolutions. These tools can be easily downloaded and installed in your web browser. They're free, of course. You can also set up virtual machines on your computer to test how your plugins behave on your responsive website. We're going to talk about this a little later, but there are also some online services such as BrowserStack, where you can go and have your website rendered on various devices, resolutions, operating systems, etc. BrowserStack, for instance, has mobile emulators that allow you to do live testing of the site's components across hundreds of devices and operating systems. And you can do this all online. As Kathy mentioned earlier, we'll talk about this in some more detail in our next webinar. So truthfully, there's nothing as reliable as real-time hands-on testing, but as you would have just heard, there are a number of options that we still have. So in wrapping up, we're going to look at the lessons we have learned. Well, we have learned personally in our development of responsive websites. First, there is no shortage of great plugins out there to meet your website needs. There are going to be plugins for various content management systems that you use. For Joomla, there's an extensive extension directory where you can download any number of plugins, from photo galleries to menu systems to news archival systems, mailing lists. Any type of plugin that you want, you're sure to find it. The thing is, many of these plugins that you find will claim to be responsive or mobile friendly. However, many will turn out not to be 100% responsive or mobile friendly. It is not until you install them and test them comprehensively that you can be sure that they are in fact what they claim to be. Research carefully and test extensively. This is the best way to ensure that your plugins are fully responsive. That's it for plugins. Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley. That was some excellent advice and tips. Obviously very important to do a lot of testing before you embarrass yourself or your clients. Thanks very much. Okay, so what we're going to move on to now is the use of search in mobile design. And we're going to look at some of the issues involved in implementing search functionality on your mobile site. And we're going to take a look at some examples of how it has been well done, and you can learn from these examples. Good. So to begin our discussion on the use of search on your mobile website, let's start by considering why such a search feature is a requirement for mobile sites. Now, of course, on smaller devices such as tablets and particularly on phones, we typically have a simplified navigation. The search feature complements this navigation and provides users with a quick, direct access to the content that they're looking for. Now, for smaller websites with limited content, let's say under 20 pages or so, those sites can be navigated quite easily with a well-thought-out hierarchical menu. But larger sites will certainly require a search feature. So what do we need to consider when we're designing the search functionality for a mobile site? Well, first of all, we have to make sure that the search box is easy to find. Usually this means above the fold, consistently positioned, and maybe ever present. And we'll see some examples shortly. Secondly, the search has to be easy to use. Using HTML, the search will automatically bring up the device's on-screen keyboard to begin typing and searching. Finally, the search must return relevant results in a mobile-friendly layout. And the pages and sites that are linked to in the search results should also be mobile-friendly. Let's have a look at some examples covering three major areas: e-commerce, news, and travel. And we'll start by having a look at an e-commerce website called Timberland. So here's the Timberland website as seen on the desktop. Now, of course, search plays a very important role in the e-commerce experience, helping customers to quickly locate the products that they're looking for. And here on the Timberland website, on the desktop version, you can see that the primary form of navigation is a very extensive and highly functional menu. Using this menu, you can get very quickly to the section of the website that you're looking for. There is a search feature, but on desktop, this search plays a secondary role to our main menu navigation. Let's compare that now to the mobile version of the same website. And here you can see that search takes center stage. It's the dominant element above the fold. You still have a nice navigation system that you can use, but you can see that search is really the primary form of navigation. Now let's say we're looking today for men's sandals, so let's do a search. And here are the results presented in a very clean format, and the customer has the option of further refining these search results very quickly and very easily. So by making search a prominent feature on the mobile site, and by ensuring that the search results are presented in a clean, mobile-friendly format, Timberland presents us with a great example of how to use search on an e-commerce website. So what about a news website? Well, let's have a look at Tongue and Country magazine, which actually is the oldest general interest publication in the US. It actually began publishing in 1846. Today, it's still delivering amazing content to its readers, only now in a digital form with responsive web design. So here's the desktop version of the site, and you can see that the search option is fairly prominent above the fold. How about on mobile? If we switch to the mobile view, we can see that at the top we have the branding, the menu, and the search feature. And as we scroll through the site, you'll notice that remains constant at the top of the page, even as you're scrolling through the actual content of the site. When you're ready to do a search, you simply click on the search button and your search dialog appears. So this is making great use of space and keeps the search feature always available to the user, no matter where they are, whatever page they're on, or whatever section of a page they're looking at any given time. How about in travel? Well, like the Timberland site, the travel site for the Caribbean island of Barbados also features a highly functional menu on its desktop, as you can see here. Now, obviously, such a menu would not be practical on a mobile site. So on mobile, the site also makes great use of space by presenting the search box in an accessible overlay. So when the user is ready to search, they simply click on the search, they get this overlay, and they can perform their search and find the content that they're looking for. So that presents a great use of space on a travel website. As usual, you want to be using measurement tools to make sure that the search is working as effectively as possible for your users. Based on what you learn from user interactions with your search feature, you may need to change the location of the search box or modify the layout of your search results. In summary, remember that happy website visitors become great customers and brand ambassadors. Keep them happy by helping them to quickly find what they want through the use of an effective search feature on your mobile site. That concludes today's webinar. I hope you found the discussions useful. Thanks for watching. We hope you get a lot more out of this series of reports and webinars. If you find it helpful, please tell your friends about it. And be sure to register for the download and be advised of future webinars. Please join us next time when we'll be discussing the use of third-party plugins and explore the best tools for testing your mobile website. Bye for now.
Bye.